Okay, so I built this lunar rocket, and this is gonna try and get the Kerbals to the moon. I have no actually. If I had more funds, I have 115,000 space bucks in the account now. Then I would like to test this with the drone and just test this out, but we don't have the funds, so we're gonna just fly this. It has a lander and a one side and a one seat return module, Mark 1 cockpit. In there it's got like an Apollo style lander with like on top of like a Soyuz type rocket. And this is gonna give me in vacuum, it's gonna give me around just more over 7,000 meter per second delta V. This is first attempt, and well, failure is an option, and I think we're gonna put Valentina Kerman for this mission because she's basically she's the bravest of all of them. That means we only have a pilot, not a scientist on the moon. I would like to have a scientist on the moon, but I just don't have. I can use this other Mark II command pod as a for two-seater, but then the lander is just only a one seat in there here, so I won't be able to use that. I think I can put the monopropellant out of here. And I forgot something. We still need to bring more food because we're gonna be out there. We have food for 6 days. 6 days. I think that's gonna be tight. I think that's gonna be tight. So I'm gonna adjust it a little bit more, and then we're gonna launch it. So that's it. We put some extra life support, and we have a rocket of almost 90,000 tons. So it's the biggest rocket we ever built. And Valentina is in there, just check to make sure, and I hope this goes well because this rocket is gonna cost me 43,000 space bucks, and we only have 150 in the bank, so we can do a second attempt if something happens, but I hope this just works. Let's launch it. Whoa. Just keep still. There's no launch clamps yet, so we have to do it like this. I think it's gonna be top heavy aerodynamically, and we don't have enough fins down here, but we have enough control inputs from the thrusters down here. Control. We'll put the SAS on. Well, let's go. Straight, because I don't want to turn too soon, because I don't think this is aerodynamically stable. We could use some asparagus staging here, and this side boosters, they should have their own monopropellant inside to get distance from the rocket when they separate. And they're gonna run out pretty soon. He's only 5 kilometers up now. Let's see what happens now. Okay, so far so good. Okay, that went fine. We're gonna turn it a little bit. It's a little bit wobbly. We still have 1900 delta V, so that's good. that turn went okay. I mean, it's aerodynamically stable. Let me check the orbit. Yeah, I think we're gonna be fine. I am a little bit concerned about this stage in here because the second stage only has, I think, 600 LDV. Oh, there's more now because we're in a vacuum, of course. We're gonna be fine. I should go a little bit higher because this is too shallow. Acceleration is like 2 Gs. And at the highest point in the orbit is increasing now. Okay, just get the last fuel outside of this big tank. Just burn it up. Almost finished. And that's it. I think in a sec it's gonna be safe to get the clamps off the air shell. It's stable. We're gonna activate the radiators. I think we have a successful launch here and we still have plenty of delta V to get to the moon. So I'm gonna use this engine. This engine only has a thrust to weight ratio of 0.5, but we don't need it as we're already in space. We don't need a strong engine now. So I'm just gonna circularize the orbit and we're gonna head off to the moon, and then I'll see you around the moon. Now just look how Valentina has the best fuel any office has in Kerbal. That's the sunset. Well, that's the most beautiful scene right there. Now it's getting awfully quiet and there's 1 day of traveling time and then we'll be at the moon. And while we're on a transfer here, I'm gonna do an EVA just to get some additional science, because we can have an EVA report here, and we already did that. Okay, and there we have it. We're in the orbit of the moon, but our first problem is already there because we have a mission. It's gonna try to put us on a spot here and do some science while EVA on the surface, while performing an EVA on the surface, but it's on the dark side of the moon, and we can wait for it with the food we have. We can wait for the moon to turn a little bit into the sun and orient itself correctly, but then it's on the other side of the Kerbal, so we don't have any radio contact with Kerbal. But that's okay. I think we're gonna try it and just wait for the moon to turn a little bit and see how many days we have left on food, because we have 1 day traveling time and there's still 36 days left. So let's see how long we can wait. I think we're in a better spot now. It's half daylight. It's just like in the morning, and there's still contact with Kerbal on this side now. and we just skipped one day, so that's no problem. So we're gonna decouple this node. We're gonna transfer just we have to make sure this one is oriented, these solar panels are oriented into the sun, so we have electrical power, just to be sure. The food supplies in here should be fine. We're not gonna stay on them in very long, hopefully. We can just transfer Valentina to the lander, that's correct, and decouple. Do we have enough fuel on these ones? Yeah. And decouple right now. We can put this just so we have it. It's 35 science right here. The high radiation environment caused the fuel of the samples to glow. It looks like it will be fun to paint the rocket with this. We're gonna take it later once we return. Okay, we're gonna decouple. And we're gonna orient ourselves retrograde. Let's see if I still know how to use the RCS thrusters. Yep. We have to activate this engine. It's just a small engine, so we might have a problem getting our speed down once we're at the surface, but once we're close to the surface, but we'll see. We're just gonna extend this antenna also. There's no electricity now. We're just eyeballing this. We could do some science on the surface. We have a temperature meter and a pressure meter on board. Well, I'm just gonna try and fly over the... How much delta V do we have? Oh, there's plenty of delta V. So I think I just have to orient myself a little bit more north. So we're gonna precisely head over this spot. I'm just gonna activate the navigation so I know where to go. And if I go in the neighborhood here, then I can try and get Valentina to hop over the moon surface using the backpack, which has about 500 delta V in there. And once you go inside, I think it recharges. So we have to make sure we just don't run out of electricity charge, but it seems okay. So I'm gonna skip time a little bit. I'm actually pretty excited. It feels like I'm doing this live, but we're still high and fast. So I'm gonna decrease my speed a little bit. I'm gonna put her retrograde. We're gonna rename this the Eagle. I think we should go a little bit north again. Oh, this is south. Oops. Let's orient ourselves a little bit more northerly to just be in the middle of this. I think I want to head here. I think an Apollo lander would do a very different orbit, but we're just gonna go straight down almost. And naturally I should have put this Apollo lander more in line with this orbit, but there's not too much delta V on the Apollo. So I'm just gonna do it like this because the lander has plenty of delta V. Now there's no cues where we should be heading. Only in an F-ball. I think. Did I activate it? Yeah, I activated the navigation. So I'm just gonna put it on top of here. Let me double check. This is the EVAA report on the service of sector blah 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 alpha. That should be here. Oh, we also have to do a crew report in space flight below that one near Jean's Land. Okay, so there's an additional one here. Let's see how if we can I'm not sure if we're gonna manage that, but we'll see. We'll have to do that another time then. I don't know about the acceleration of this thruster, but it's not slowing. I think it's slowing down sufficiently. Let's orient ourselves a little bit north again. Just to put us right in there, on there. Okay, let's get the gear out by pressing G. Can we do some science in here on here? No, we already did some science in here with the drones. We can do an observe mystery goo. It's 20 on science there. I don't see the target in here on the nav ball. Oh, it's over there. It's just between those 4 craters. There's 3 big craters and just on the right on there. So it should be decelerating now because uh-oh. I'm gonna use some extra RCS if I don't manage. Okay, let's put this one now to mountain on above terrain altitude. Very important. That's a new feature of the 1.6 or 1.7 update. We're still going really fast. I'm gonna use some RCS just to slow us more with plenty of RCS in here. No, I think we're looking good. We're just going straight down now. We can get a little bit closer, but let's just keep it just for safety reasons. Can I do a temperature? Nothing special here. We already did this. No, there's no program error. Just like the real Apollo lander. Program error 105 or something like that. Our terrain looks good. Oh, look at that Kerbal over there. I think this is gonna work. We should see the dust cloud coming up. One meter per second, really slow. Half a meter per second and touchdown. Wow, great. Our solar panels are getting solar energy and the Eagle has landed. Whoa, you got a bunch of guys about to get blue again. We're breeding again. And now we can do an observe mystery goo. This is another 28. The goo seems to be less dense here. And we could do a temperature reading from the surface on, and we already got, unfortunately we already got temperature scan from the Midlands. That's okay, we're gonna go for the observational surveys on the moon here at this spot. And a pressure scan also, okay. Just another 10 science right there. Well, I think it's time to take a first step. We don't have, we haven't invented stairs yet, so he's just gonna do it. Whoa. Wait a minute. SAS is still on. Let me get inside then. Try and put it oriented a little bit like this. That's strange. And see how it's like hovering without any SAS? Maybe if I just, I think that's way better. Let's just keep it like this. Okay, SAS is off. And EVA again. I think this is better. And the sun is gonna rise, so there's gonna be more power. Now we are going for the first step. Now it's a small step from here. And it actually is. Wow, we've landed. Where's Kerbal? Oh, we cannot see it. So we're gonna plant a flag, also, which also gonna reward us with a mission done. And we're gonna name it like first Kerbal on the moon. It's a small step for a man, but a small step for women. I don't know if I spelled that correctly. My English, as you can tell already, my English is not very good. And we can do an EVA report. You look up and search the sky for Kerbal. Suddenly you feel very small. There's 22 science over there. Look at this view. So what's more way? We can transmit or recover scientific data from the moon. We're gonna do that anyway. But now I think it's time to bring a moonstone back to Kerbal. Take a surface sample. The darker Midlands surface appears to be made of basaltic rocks. Oh great. I'm gonna put this in the lander. Oh. Oopsie. Just be careful now. Store experiments. Crew report. forgot to take a crew report on here. And I'm just gonna try and fly to these spots. Let me see where we landed. We can, first of all, I'll go south and go to Delta. Delta. And let's see if we can find it on the map there. I have no clue about how far it is. We have a full backpack now. And it should be over there. I have no clue how far that is away from our point right now, but this is the most dangerous part because you can end up really tumbling down to, hey, what's over there? Do you see that? I think this is part of the update. Let's see if we can get some additional science in here. This is the first time I see a crater like this. Oh, boing. Sorry. Deactivate RCS. We can climb on here. Now we're actually inside a crater. Can we do an EVA report on here? It's just from the moon's Midlands. But that's funny. I'm just gonna plant an additional flag here and volcano. But there's no take surface sample. I think this is the same as we had. This is just a surface sample from the moon's Midland, so there's no additional surface sample here. Yeah, I think you have to use the drones and the rovers and a special arm for it just to get more science. I should be orienting myself with a different camera mode. I'm not sure how I did this. Okay, let me check how much RCS EVA propellant still left, because it's gonna be a long walk back if we forget this. So far so good. Almost a kilometer out now. There's Kerbal over there. We're just going along. Ah, it must be inside this crater. How far am I at the map? I should be almost overhead. I think I can manage. I could get the lander a bit closer, but I think I can manage the other ones as well. But I'm not gonna bore you with that ones because that's gonna be a long episode. We're in sector L6WMD. So I'm just gonna put it down real soft, hopefully. And that's it. We're gonna take an EVA report. And we're gonna try and head back. This is 2.3 kilometers right there, from here to there. So I think we're gonna have, for these ones, we're gonna have to put the lander a little bit closer, but we'll see. Because we have enough delta V on the lander. Okay. Yeah. I will just get the other ones and we'll get back to you. Okay, so we just oriented ourselves a little bit closer. And it's already there. EVA. Let me see if this is different. It's still Midlands. Oh, don't tip over the lander, because we're on a... See how Kerbal is rising up there? This way. So just notice if you press spacebar, you can orient the camera differently, or your orientation differently then. So I press space. It's handy to know. It's right on this cliff side here, I guess. Must be getting close now. Well, I'll do the other ones and just skip this part. Now this is just to show you, this text is actually pretty funny. You start to say something dramatic and poignant. I don't know how to spell it. About the plight of Kerbal kind in this grand universe, only to be cut off by random radio chatter that the situation is nominal. There's actually a video of a rocket going up on a launch. They just keep saying everything is nominal while the rocket is just breaking up, because it was a audio tape just saying everything was nominal. It's really funny. Okay, next part. Yeah. So that's 4 kilometers downrange is our flags, and 1.5 kilometers is our Eagle lander. So let's get back. Now this is a really dangerous part of the journey, because if I can get too high, I will be going down at a very fast rate. If you don't brake in time, then you're gonna smash on the surface. This is gonna look fine. We're just gonna put our lights in. Look at the visor, how it's shiny, and you see Kerbal inside. That's one of these visual mods is doing that. Oh, that's what I mean. You're gonna go really fast if you don't pay attention. 1.8 EVA propellant left. One and a half. We're very high up now. I think we're gonna make it. Now, as we don't have a ladder, we have to have some EVA propellant left, because we're not. You can climb on top, but it's very difficult, and we will risk tipping the lander over. Half EVA propellant left, and that's it. So we're gonna do a last. No, I'm gonna take the data from here. Take data. We'll take the data from here so we can get a new one if we want to. We have EVA report from the surface. And just like Apollo Alpha, I think it's gonna be time to get home really quickly. I think the Apollo 11 lander only stayed at the surface for about 3 hours or so. Later Apollo missions, they stayed much longer. I think the longest one was 3 days almost. So I'm just gonna go back to the let me see where we at. We still have we still have to get through here, but I think it's too far out that we don't have the orbit correctly set up in order to get over here. You should have a polar orbit, much like a polar orbit, but we're just gonna launch and catch up with Apollo and head back home. So we're gonna find the 90 degrees. There's 1200 delta V left, so that's okay. Maybe we can do another temperature reading, get some additional science. Pressure reading, temperature reading. The 90, it's over here. If we want to, we can send some data, because if we're gonna fail the mission, at least we're gonna have some data sent. But for now, it's okay. Because I think I will be running out of electric charge then. So there's a slight inclination change needed if we want to be heading off to mating with Apollo. If we want to be close to the orbit of Apollo, this is gonna take a long time. I'm gonna speed up time a little bit. Okay, we made a rendezvous with Apollo. Now I'm just gonna use the docking. What's it called? The mod, docking alignment port mod. To get the right orientation. We didn't put any lights on the spacecraft, so it's gonna be hard on the dark side of the moon. but we're gonna try it anyway. So we targeted the Clampotron docking port Junior on the Apollo. I think, if I remember correctly, let me see, just control from here. The orange line is gonna be set on top. I don't know how the Apollo spacecraft is oriented, so we have to get a little bit closer in order to find out. How much RCS do we have? We have our monopropellant is 51, still almost full, so that's gonna be fine. So I'm gonna go a little bit closer, faster. And I think I have to put this yellow pointer in the middle, somewhere over here. I'm not sure anymore. Well, the distance is closing. There's 200 meters. Our relative velocity is 2.8, I guess. Let me see. That's a long time ago when I used this mod, so. Distance is 200 now, and sea distance is minus 100, and I'm not sure what this is. Let me put the antenna back in. Okay, now I see the orientation, although we don't have any lights. Maybe it's better for me to just keep zero velocity and then just wait for us to be on the other side of the where we have some light. So I'm just gonna kill all the velocity. Like this. We're just gonna wait a while for us to get on the other side. So we see the spacecraft. There's some light, background light from the Kerbal. Right now. So I think we have to back up because the docking port's on the other side. That's why I think this mod is doing weird stuff now. Because we have this orange marker now also. As you can see, also there's this pointer on the other side of the ring. And if I understand it correctly, you have to put that on top side. And then we have to orient the correct attitude of the spacecraft in alignment with the docking port. And now we can keep an eye on this green lines. First, let's kill our velocity and go inward. And just translate a little bit now, this side. And I put the yellow marker and almost at the green lines by using translation. Now naturally, if you do this in the real world, it's going to be different, I guess, because you don't want to have any monopropellant on the other spacecraft. But I think this should be fine. Well, maybe a little bit fast, but that's okay. And that's it. There we are. Now I have to get all the science out of here and get it inside here, and also get this Science Junior, I guess, science data out of there. So I'm gonna take all the data, do another EVA report just to make sure. No, it's nothing new up here. Just and just get also this Science Junior stuff. Collect data, and now get inside of this other module. Now I guess if we pump all the fuel over, we have enough in here, but I think there's plenty of fuel for us now to get home, and if we keep this lander in orbit around the moon, we can reuse it probably. So we don't have to go back and take another lander down here. We can just reuse this orbiter. And if we have a scientist, we can even reuse these science experiments on the site here, because we can reset them with a scientist. So I'm just gonna I think we got all the science. Let me see. We're gonna let the monopropellant be in here. I think we should get all the waste out. Not sure how if this is the correct way. So this is the lander can, and we just put this one, carbon dioxide, out. We can transfer, we can leave some food and water and oxygen in here. I mean, there's plenty for us here. Unfortunately, the oxygen doesn't seem to work. We can leave the monopropellant in here, that's okay, we can use it for another flight. I think, let me see, how much delta V do we have on this thruster? We have 756 now on this one. Just deactivate this, shut down this engine. There's about 854 meters per second, but that's gonna double if we get rid of this lander, I think. So I'm just gonna transfer some fuel inside here, I guess. How do I do it? Oh, that's not possible because the docking port won't. There's these. Oh, that's correct. That's right. This heat shield is preventing us from getting any fuel transfer through from this side to the other side. So that's not gonna work, unfortunately. I think so. Yeah. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So it's gonna be like this. Well, we just put the lander in orbit, and there's enough fuel in there, and we can do a transfer in the future, but that's okay. So we're gonna decouple. Yep. And there's 1279 meters per second right now. So I guess we have enough delta V to try and do a flyby of this other vantage point. So yeah. Well, it's getting late now. I'm going to bed, and on the next episode I guess we'll try and do we're gonna consider if we can get ourselves oriented and fly over this spot here and get ourselves back to Kerbal. Maybe I'll try and get a real high orbit up, and then try and do a inclination change so high in the orbit, because it's more efficient. Yes, and then we're gonna try and do a close by. I mean, we have to be below 8 kilometers here. I think we can manage with this amount of fuel. So for now I'm gonna go to bed and see you guys another time. Okay, I can think that this maneuver is gonna fix it, as the rotation of the moon will increase this position further to the east. So let's just head over here. And I think we got enough delta V, so I'm just gonna go for it. And there goes the lander. I'm just gonna eyeball it a little bit now. Gonna make sure we are low enough, lower than 8.1 kilometers at altitude. So there's a danger of us hitting the terrain, the surrounding terrain. So we have to make sure that that doesn't happen. How much delta V do we have? We have 1000 delta V, okay. Electricity. 300 still. Let's keep this oriented at the sun. The mission is 3 days out now. There's plenty of food. Well, maybe it's also time to do a quick EVA. And I'm just gonna go retrograde a little bit more to make sure we're below 8.1 kilometers altitude. I think we need to go a little bit anti-normal, like this, and this should be it. We should be able to make it, but it's gonna be close to the ground, so you have to be ready to get into a safe orbit again. You can see the curvature of the moon just from looking like this at the map view. So we need to do a crew report in spaceflight, not an EVA report, but a crew report. just about over here, over the position, and crew report. That's it, we completed the mission. Now let's get into a safe orbit. $35 kilometers up. Solar panels still in the sun. And I'm gonna try and plan this outward maneuver to get back to Kerbal. I think it will burn this way. Adjust it a little bit. We're gonna go, so this is 200 delta V burn. I think this one should be fine, this one. It's a periapsis of 233. So we'll just skip ahead. Did I guys already tell you that I had some problems when Kerbal Space Program updated to 1.72? Because this visual enhancement mod I use, that uses the mod that's called Copernicus, and Copernicus checks if you have the correct version. If not, it disables it, and that way your solar panels won't work. So I figured this out while I was launching rockets, which set me back for an hour for just fixing the stuff. And I managed to somehow fix it by editing the save game file, or the configuration file of Copernicus mods, of the Copernicus mod, and to disable the solar panel feature. But just taking in account now, or I just have to note now that if Kerbal Space Program updates automatically, then there's going to be problems with using mods. So therefore I disable all updates from Kerbal Space Program, and this Let's Play is just going to be on 1.72. Otherwise you'll end up fixing all the stuff again and again, and maybe losing your save game file. So it's also a good idea to make a backup in Steam. It's very easy to do. It's just a feature in Steam. Now, well, let's just burn this way, and then we'll get back home. Yeah. And just like that, we're coming back at the surface of Kerbal on a long voyage. Valentina, first women Kerbal to step on the moon. We're gonna decouple. We got all the science. Why is this machine so hot all of a sudden? This is not particularly looking good. This is not at all looking good. It's getting too hot. I should point it a little bit like this to keep the parachute from overheating. It's gonna burn up. Is it gonna hold? Well, that's tense situation. I think we're good. We just about made it. But the heating was really close. Yeah, this is gonna be fine. I think next time we have to use a different antenna as well, because it sticks out just a little bit over here. Not sure why it caused this initial heating, because it looked like it was very hot just in the beginning. Maybe decoupling earlier, or maybe those radiator panels had something to do with it. I'm not sure. Almost safe for a parachute. Skip time a little bit. You guys won't even be able to see this very good because it's so dark. And we're gonna jettison the heat shield. The 300 meters. Just by the magic of this gigantic wheels, inertia wheels, we can just hold it like this, even though that's totally not realistic. Can we do a surface sample? Take surface sample. Wow, we already got it. And that's it. That completed our mission to the moon. Let's see what we got. So we got about 300 signs from all the experiments, and that makes for a total of 350 signs now. We got about 455,000 space bucks, which leaves us enough room to start thinking about the next upgrade. Not sure what we're gonna do, because we're pretty good here. Maybe we're gonna upgrade space hangar and the runway at least. But for now, I'll see you next time. I brought Moonstone back with me. Why is this still open? Ah, it says you can probably find one in the polar lowlands or midland biomes. That's cool. Okay. Well, that will be next time then. See you guys on the next round.